Welcome to Keto Beyond the Couch, episode 283.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Joe.
And we are two crazy ketos.
And if you're new to our channel, welcome.
Yes, welcome. If you're new here, please say hi down below.
Now, here on Two Crazy Ketos, we do different things like recipe videos and we do product reviews. We talk about various keto topics, and every Monday we go live on Keto Beyond the Couch because life exists beyond the couch.
You can find us in different social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and X.
And we have a website, which is twocrazyketos.com, and that's where you're going to find all of our different recipes. Now, we do upload at least 5 new videos every single week, so make sure you subscribe to our channel.
And don't forget to hit the little bell icon. That way, every single time it's Monday, you'll be alerted to it. Happy Monday, everybody. I'm so glad that we're home and that we were able
for a little while.
Yeah, but able to get a little bit of rest over the weekend. It was really refreshing. I had to remind everybody in our family group that school starts, at least around here. So really remember all of those school zones as kids start going back to school. Sometimes you can, race out of your neighborhood.
Forget about school zones.
Nobody needs a ticket this morning. So, but really just thinking about all of the teachers and the parents and the children that are trying to get back into the swing of things. It's challenging, right? To come out of summer mode. Also, I just wanted to give a moment of gratitude. Yesterday, or I guess it was Saturday, Terry, Joe's sister, called us to see about making ribs like we did when we were visiting.
Trying to know how to smoke pork ribs or cook pork ribs in the oven.
Right. And so that's what we had fixed when we were in New York, and they were, making ribs for yesterday because they were going to have a party over at their house where they were going to feed a bunch of people to just kind of celebrate the finality of the A-frame getting renovated.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, praise God. Mom is well enough to have this party. I think about where she was just a couple of weeks ago. I mean, just so thankful. So, we take time to focus on when we're worried about something. And I think sometimes we need to take time to stop when we're thankful for something.
Yeah, because if you're new here, my mom moved from her house on Long Island to the property they have in upstate New York, which she saw us visit earlier this year.
4 years ago.
And for more than 4 years, they've been undergoing renovations. They got there's no easy way to say it. They got screwed by 2 different contractors who took hundreds of thousands of dollars, where they started the work, they didn't finish it, they did things wrong, and so it's been 4 very long years. For over 2.5 years, they didn't even have a thing to cook on.
No.
So I'm so glad that's finally done. So welcome to Keto Beyond the Couch. If you are new here, Keto Beyond the Couch is all about our subscribers. We love to celebrate our subscribers. Our channel is really focused on creating community. And so we do this every Monday at 10 a.m. We try to do it live as much as possible. So the way we do this is we're going to go through all of the questions and comments in celebration of subscribers from the last week. The last 10 or 15 minutes we'll address the chat. So if you have a question, hold off to the last 10 or 15 minutes of the stream. Or you can use the super chat function, which we really appreciate. It does benefit the channel. This is our full-time job. More importantly, what it does, though, is it highlights our screen so that we know that you have a question. A couple little housekeeping things also. For next Monday, we are not sure whether or not Keto Beyond the Couch will be live or if it will be pre-recorded, but there will be an episode at 10 a.m. The reason we don't know if it's going to be live or not is because we don't know when we're closing on our property.
We don't. It's supposed to be on or before the 19th.
On or before the 19th. So we're going to call our agent later on today because we've heard rumblings that it'll be the 16th, which is Friday. That would be awesome. But it's on or before the 19th. And if they do it on the 19th, then that would be Keto Beyond the Couch because that's a Monday. Also, as I said, we are all about community. Now, there's a couple more opportunities to get together with the community in person this year. So in October, we will be speaking at Keto Palooza which is going to be in Louisville, Kentucky.
So excited for that.
We actually have a discount code for it, 2KK. We don't make any money off of that.
We just want you to go.
We think it's a really awesome conference. Autumn actually calls it the Keto Family Reunion.
And that's true. That's an accurate description of it. It really is like a family homecoming where everybody just gets together and enjoys visiting.
And there's really awesome speakers.
Oh, yeah.
So, and then after that, we only have a couple more weeks left for this, but we have the 2KK cruise,
Yes.
which is the Sail Away with 2KK, the 2KK Getaway. That is December 8th through the 14th. It's 6 nights on Royal Caribbean on Oasis of the Seas. So there are a few cabins left for that. For those of you who are going on that cruise, just to let you know, over the next couple days, I'm going to be sending out invoices for your final payment date. Because we are cruising to Alaska for Rachel's birthday, or Rachel and Miriam's birthday,
Yay!
the very first week of September, and the final payment is like right in that period when we're on the cruise. We're going to ask people to, if you can please start like sending us in your payments so that I can process them. It does take a little while. Take a look at your invoice, make sure that everything's on there is correct. So that if we have to make a name change or something, if some people have already told us, hey, I want to prepay my gratuities. If that's not in there, let me know. I can add it, as well as if you want to get travel protection. So that is coming up in December. Super excited about that one. That's 6 nights. Also on that one, you're going to notice one of the port stops is Labadee. Most likely we will not be going to Labadee because it's still something that,
There's some unrest.
There's some unrest. They haven't made any announcements for December yet, but I'm going to assume that they're going to change that port stop to someplace else. Also, real quick, and then we're going to get into all the questions and stuff from the past week. Going to announce it here.
Let's do it.
So next December 4th through, if I can get it to come up, the 4th through the 8th,
Yay!
4-night cruise on Freedom of the Seas from, that says from Fort Lauderdale, but it's actually from Miami. We will be doing the 2KK birthday cruise. So it is going to be another 2KK getaway cruise. And that one will be to celebrate my 55th birthday, because my birthday will be while we're on the cruise. And the cool thing about that cruise is we got like dirt cheap rates. Like,
I love dirt cheap.
Inside cabin for 2 people under $800.
Hello.
Ocean view balconies starting at like $1,050 for 2 people. And then if you want midship, and I actually reserved I actually have some cabins picked for midship. If you want midship ocean view balcony, you're on the hump, which means you get a bigger balcony and you're on the hump. It's like the prime spot. And I think they're like $1,160 for 2 people. That includes port fees and port fees and taxes.
We really try our very bestest to make getting together as a community affordable. Yeah. That's really
because that's 4 nights.
Yes,
I mean that's cheaper than most conferences. It's
right.
4 nights of community, including all of your food and stuff. The only extra thing you would have is your gratuities.
I'm excited.
And then if you want to do and that's only a 1 port stop. Right now it's Labadee. Who knows? It's a year away. But lots of cruising days, so lots of opportunities to just hang out with community.
There is no requirement for how you eat, or if you bring somebody with you that is not keto. We welcome that. I think that is a real blessing when people get together, who maybe don't have this way of eating, and see that we're not trying to police anybody. Yeah. That we just genuinely want people to be well. We want people to enjoy their life to the fullest and then share community. That's really the most important thing. And we just happen to eat meat.
Yeah.
Right?
Now, we will be working on one earlier in the year, but it's trying to figure out timing. We want to do it in March, but you got spring break, prices are really high. And then in June, we've got the low-carb cruise, so there's no sense in doing one there. So maybe July or August if I can find something super cheap.
So one is this year, and then one is next year.
Right, and then we'll try to find something in between once we know schedules and things like that.
That's right.
So let's get into Keto Beyond the Couch. We are going to start off with our Keto College Adjunct Professor of the Week. We actually have 2 of them. This one is Laquetta.
Hey, Laquetta.
Says, I was visiting with a friend, and she reminded me of something that I thought of years ago. While we are going through our struggles, we look towards another for our goals. We're someone else's goal.
Wow.
My friend told me this at the time. I am her goal. I'm truly trying to accept this.
What an awesome thing to bring to our thoughts, really, because a lot of times we're focused on where we haven't gotten to yet. You know,
Right.
maybe we're trying to pursue a certain goal and all we can think about is our failure, how short we are from that goal. And you don't realize that people are looking to you, like Laquetta is saying, and you're their goal.
Right.
What you're able to do right now, the clothes you're able to fit in right now, that's their goal. And I think it's tragic if someone sees us as a goal and they don't see us smiling. And they don't see us rejoicing and they don't see us being happy because they're hoping that there is going to be some peace when they get to where you are. There's going to be some joy when they get to where you are.
Right.
And if we just always have that sourpuss, we're always kicking ourselves for how far we're not yet, I feel like that's really tragic.
Right. I mean, it's something that we have to remind ourselves of all the time is, you know, like, am I where I want to be? No, but I'm not where I was.
So true.
But I do really take it to heart to go, well, I'm not where I want to be. I'm not where I was, but I am where somebody wants to be.
Yeah.
And if I am only ever complaining that I'm not where I want to be, that will really discourage other people because they'll be like, well, if he's not happy where he is,
why bother?
and that's where I want to be, why should I even bother? It's one of the reasons that we always post pictures, especially when we're speaking, of what we used to look like, because a lot of that is also a reminder for us for where we came from. That's why we ask you to share your story. Whether or not you're at your goal, share your story because your story is going to impact somebody. Somebody out there is looking at where you are right now, whether it be you're at the weight that they want to be or maybe they just want to be off of medication. When you share your story, it helps somebody to have a goal because they're like, oh, if I could just do that, if I could just accomplish what Laquetta has accomplished,
It's so true.
I would be happy. The next one we have is from Sean.
Hey, Sean.
Sean said, just because it's not happening as fast as you would like to doesn't mean that it isn't happening. A little bit of vitamin P goes a long way. And she hit up this little meme and says, trust your journey. Your speed doesn't matter. Forward is forward.
That's so true. And again, it's kind of like, what is our attitude while we head toward the goal that we have for ourselves? Is it rejoicing with every step moving forward, or is it complaining with every step moving forward? I felt so victorious this morning. I got out of bed. It was still 5 a.m. and I just was ready for my walk right then. So got in 4 miles this morning, came home, had some breakfast, did my strength training, went over, had a cup of coffee with my mom. I just felt so victorious.
Yeah.
Now my plan is to get in another mile sometime today.
Right.
But am I going to say to myself, yeah, but you only got 4 miles in, Rachel?
I know, right?
That's what we can do.
I do see Lynette is in here. And
Hey,
I should
Lynette.
mention that, yes, we are going to Alaska for Rachel and Miriam's birthday.
But it is
also
Lynette's
Lynette's birthday on September 3rd. So I wish
is.
Lynette could be joining us and we can
Me
have
too.
the girls' birthday cruise. Every year
We
the
love
girls
you,
do
Lynette.
something together.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited, though. Still have to book a hotel room for Seattle.
I can't even hear that.
T2C47, thank you
Wow,
very much
thank
for the
you.
$20 super chat. Said, I'm mostly a silent watcher, but tomorrow is my 50th birthday, and I love when y'all sing happy birthday. Would you please sing for me? My name is
Yes.
Catherine. Thank you. Have an amazing trip. Love y'all.
All right, here we go. You ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Catherine.
Sorry.
Happy birthday to you and many more. So many more, Catherine. Thanks so much
very much
for sharing your day with us.
Let's take a quick fade to black.
And we're back.
Okay, first subscriber of the week is going to be from Claire.
Hey, Claire.
Today, I officially graduated from the endocrinologist.
Yes.
When I was first referred to her in 2019, my A1C was 10.5.
Wow.
I now have had almost 5 years of normal A1C again, thanks to the help and support of this 2KK family. I can now go back to my PCP for regular care, and we are keeping the diagnosis for me so I can continue to have my glucose monitor coverage.
What a victory.
That is awesome.
And Claire is such a precious young lady too, like just always just very encouraging and so faithful. And she is really a testimony of consistency. When you're saying that she has been working on this specific thing for 5 years. Mm-hmm. That's part of that post. It's one paragraph that represents 5 years of faithfulness to this.
Right.
So, I mean, a lot of us want to see things deprescribed. We want us to not have to see a specialist. What a victory to be able to return to your primary care physician and not have to go through all those added hoops because you've gotten your A1C down. But that was a long journey for her to do that.
It really is amazing. I mean, and this is again where we talk about sharing your story. It doesn't have to be, I've lost all this weight. I mean, Claire's just no longer having to go to an endocrinologist. And,
amazing.
And here's the thing, just for those of you who are like, am I doing the right thing?
Yeah.
You can talk to pretty much any doctor, but especially talk to doctors in the keto space. Talk to people like Dr. Berry, Dr. Boz,
Dr. Nelson.
Dr. Nelson. Dr. Nelson, when we were at the Keto Orlando Summits, we actually specifically asked him in front of a group of people, there is no medication that can take your A1C from a 10.5 down to below diabetes level.
Yeah.
The medications don't take it down that far.
No.
The only way you can do that is with your diet. And on our last night when we were at the finale rally, I went to Tiffin therapy. Rachel went to sleep.
I went to sleep therapy.
And I was there talking to people. I was talking to actually Jack and the winner, him and his wife Shelby from winning. And we were talking about medications and the American Diabetes Association. And it's like disgusting that their solution to handling diabetes is to simply pop a pill and continue to eat carbohydrates. And it makes so much more sense if diabetes is you have an elevated glucose and the insulin isn't helping you, the insulin your body's making, wouldn't the better solution be to just don't eat sugar and things that turn to glucose, and then your glucose comes down and we don't have to worry about the insulin as much?
I think about,
it makes so much sense, but you don't hear a lot of people praising that. Why? Because everything is run by the pharmaceutical companies.
Well, think about it in terms of if you were parenting and your parenting style was just never training the child to behave, right? And they could just act wild all the time. And when you were ready for them to calm down, you just gave them a pill to go to sleep.
Right.
And you never changed any of the behavior. You never tried to work or fix anything on a real meaningful level. It's just like, I'm just going to put it to sleep when I'm tired of messing with it.
And I used to see it all the times as a coach in Little League. You would have these very hyperactive kids, right? Obviously high on sugar.
Yeah.
And the parents would literally say to them, if you calm down, I'll give you a lollipop.
It's
right?
impossible.
It's like when you used to go to the dentist and you get a clean bill of health. Here's a lollipop.
Right.
You went to the you got some cavities, I filled them, here's a lollipop. In other words, here's something that caused more cavities to make you come back.
Right.
Isn't that what it's like?
Well, it's just, we see in other ways that behavior does not make any sense. It does not make any sense to just treat the fruit on the sugar tree with medicine, because you can see where you're just going to have to keep upping the ante. It's never healing anything. It's never resolving anything. It's just a constant battle. And you can see the longer you live in this circumstance, the more fatigued our body and our system gets.
Okay, next one we have is from Rebeca.
Rebeca.
This one actually kind of made me a little sad.
Okay.
She said, my why is missing. I've been pondering it while visiting with some of my 2KK family. Rebecca and Paul came to the finale rally on Wednesday.
Awesome seeing them.
This photo represents 4 whys: life, health, pain-free, and size. In that order. Pretty much all achieved over a long 20 years. But now what? to live life beyond the couch, I think. Is that a good enough why? It doesn't make me cry. And I look at these pictures.
Oh my gosh, look at beautiful Becky.
And I'm just like, wow. Like, look at that difference from 2004 to 2024. And when she put up a thing like, I don't know what my why is, like, yes, I want you to live life beyond a couch, which you and Paul are doing. But your why is also inspiring other people now.
Well, absolutely. I mean, and that's what we get when we get to with community.
We're not centered. It's
sorry.
Bugging me.
So when we're in community together, me and her just bawl because it's just so precious, like having time together. And I think that's a part of it, because there is a desire once you've achieved a certain measure of success in your health goals that you're like, I have got to serve other people, that becomes the passion that you have. And I definitely see that Rebeca and Paul both, they love people. They are natural encouragers and good, amazing friends. And so, yeah, I think that's the why that makes me cry, is just the thought of like getting to visit with her.
Yeah. And here's the thing. I'm going to be brutally honest. There are many times, I would say probably at least 5 times, 10 times a week, where I look at Rachel and go, why do we do this? Because this is hard. Like, YouTube is hard. The negativity is hard. The comments from people, not you guys, but the comments from some people is hard. And it makes you want to quit. Mm-hmm. And then you get a post like some of the ones we've seen. And you're like, that's why we do this.
Yeah.
Right?
Get back in there.
That's why we do this. Mm-hmm. And so, like, I think it's not a bad why. Is that now that you've achieved your goals, now that you've gotten your health back, to want to help other people?
I want to maintain where I'm at. I want to keep the clear mind that I have and the stamina that I have. Like, I eat a certain way, and that helps me to live and feel well and be able to go one more mile and meet somebody new that I could just explain what we're doing and hopefully help them. It was so nice to have the energy that I had to be able to go to Keto Orlando Summit and be able to speak with everyone, and then go to the finale rally and have the stamina that we need to like really be present in that moment. And that's our desire, is to keep on sharing this message and meeting more people and helping them to kind of take back their own health.
I just saw tomorrow's Denise's birthday.
Oh, here we go.
Ready?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Denise. Happy birthday to you, and many more. So many more.
Okay, let's get into some comments from last week. The first one we have is from Renee.
Hi, Renee.
I am eating beef, butter, bacon, egg, and lettuce salad with a few olives. Should protein be eaten first?
Yes.
Yes. So I also want to just remind everybody, when somebody puts a post up like this, please don't bash them. They asked a simple question.
Yes.
Whether or not you think what they're doing is right or wrong, just answer their question. Don't condemn them because you don't agree necessarily what they're doing. Mm-hmm. Let me put that on. Why is that not on? Okay. But the answer to this question is yes, and not just for beef, butter, bacon, and egg. We eat meat mostly for fuel.
Right.
Okay. We all need protein, and the older you get, the more protein you need. I say this all the time. We need at least 100 grams of protein, minimum. No matter how old, how young you are, that's a minimum. That is a bare minimum. I don't want you to go, well, 100 grams is good enough, because it's really dependent. 100 grams is our minimum. As we get older, we need to consume more protein because our body doesn't utilize it as efficiently as when we're young, and we need more protein because we're losing muscle. So it's this big catch-22. We need more protein as we get older, but it's harder to eat.
Right.
Because we just don't eat as much as we get older, but we're losing muscle mass as we get older, 1% a year after the age of 50. And so, like, you need the protein for the muscle mass, but you're losing muscle mass. So you need to eat more protein, but it's harder to eat protein. So the best thing to do is eat protein first. 100 grams of protein is not that much. It's just, it sounds
Terrible.
like ridiculous.
A mountain to climb.
It's less than 10 chicken wings.
And it was funny. So yesterday, I enjoyed chicken wings for lunch. We used our Buffalo Wild Wings points to be able to get chicken wings. And then I thought, a lot of times if I add any type of spice to my chicken wings, I want something a little sweet tasting afterwards. So we had some freeze-dried strawberries, and I had some whipped cream. And I thought to myself, I ate my chicken wings first, like we're talking about here, and I was struggling to finish the rest of it.
Yeah.
Then I paused, and then later on was getting some strawberries and cream. I can tell you, I could have eaten a pint of strawberries.
If you started with it.
No problem at all. But you start off eating chicken wings, you are going to hit a protein wall.
Yeah.
There is just an absolute wall that you hit that you're like, I cannot eat another mouthful of this if it's protein. And I highly recommend, if someone is saying, well, I'm having a hard time like getting full, or I feel like I can't stay on track, or I'm eating too many keto, sweets or things like that, lead with protein, because you are going to stop eating way faster if you do that.
And if you want to eat a salad, if you want to eat vegetables, that is fine. I don't even care if you put them on your plate at the same time. But your plate should be mostly meat. So think opposite of what we've been taught, where you look down and you have this much protein and all these greens and stuff.
And eat your salad
first. It should
first.
be this much protein and this much greens.
Right.
And eat the protein first. Now, if you're like Rachel, who can eat a ton.
I can eat a lot.
Okay, then you might be okay eating your salad first or eating your vegetables with your meat. But if you struggle to get 30, 40, 50 grams of protein in a sitting, then that's the first thing you should eat. And you shouldn't touch the greens or the salad until you finish that protein.
And I'd honestly argue, even if you are like me and you can eat a lot in a sitting, still lead with protein, because think about nutrient density versus frivolity.
Yeah.
I don't need lettuce. Lettuce is not doing anything for me.
Yeah, regardless of what they
It's
want you to think.
Texture, it is taste, it is entertainment, but I don't need that like I need to get my beef on.
Yeah, regardless of what they want you to think, there's no real nutrients in the vegetables we're eating. They're supposed to be.
Yeah, of course.
But, I mean, we watched this great documentary about this family that, what was it, like 5 years?
It took them 10 years to bring the soil back.
But they bought this farm, which was just vitamin and nutrient depleted.
Right.
And I don't even think it was 10 years, but over the course of time, they started regenerative farming. Mm-hmm. And now everything is lush, everything is beautiful, but that's because they're not farming on nutrient depleted land, because they're putting the nutrients in.
But it's effort
with
to do it.
Farm animals.
Right.
And I thought it was interesting. I mean, at one point they are talking about they have to put down their pig, because their thing is, Rachel had a hard time hearing this, is that anything on the farm must serve a purpose. And if it doesn't serve a purpose, it's time to go.
Right.
If your job as a pig is to give me piglets and you can't give me piglets anymore,
You will give me bacon.
it's time to go. If your job is to give me eggs as a chicken and you can't give me eggs anymore, it's time to go. So I thought it was interesting how, like, they were like, we have a snail problem. So they brought in ducks. Mm-hmm. And then the ducks turned the snails into fertilizer and nutrients for all of their farm stuff. So
Yeah.
I thought it was really cool.
Very interesting.
Okay, next one we have is, it's slow today, from Stephanie.
Hi, Stephanie.
Does anyone know the thickness in millimeters that needs to be used to cut your own carnivore chips? I'm thinking specifically pork loin. Thanks in advance. 1 to 2 millimeters. So if you're doing like our carnivore chips, like, which is the equivalent of like carnivore snacks or carnivore crisp, you want to go thin. The thinner you go, the more of like a potato chip
Crispy.
consistency it's going to be. Thicker meat will either A, not dry all the way and make it more like jerky. That's the difference between like making the carnivore chips and making beef jerky, is the thickness of the meat. And then if you have it too thick and then your solution is to just dry it longer, it becomes like a tooth like breaker. It'll just break your teeth. So you want it nice and thin, kind of think.
Don't break your teeth.
You're looking, and that's why it's easier to do it when the meat is semi-frozen, because it'll be easier to work with. But think you're looking for a final consistency of like Lay's potato chips.
Right.
Those very, very thin potato chips. Next one is from Jesse.
Hey, Jesse, my tonsillectomy is scheduled for September 6th. I'm super nervous because I hear recovery is horribly painful for adults. I've stocked up on Keto Chow and even ordered me a creamy for quick ice cream. How do you all make your Keto Chow creamies? And do you know where I can order extra containers for the creamy deluxe? I doubt 1 or 2 will be enough. Also, for anyone who has had surgery since being keto, did they tell you that you had to stop your electrolyte powders and or Keto Chow magnesium drops 7 days before procedure? I'm struggling with this one, and I told them I'm on a low carb diet and I need those, but apparently they are either uneducated or don't care that I could get really sick without them, or worse, dehydrate.
Okay, so as far as the creamy, I forgot to put a link in, but I'll put one in after this live stream. You can buy extra creamy deluxe containers on Amazon. They're not from Ninja, but they do work, and I know that because we have a lot of them.
Yeah.
The way we make our Keto Chow, and if this is going to be your only nutrition, I'm going to strongly recommend this. 4 tablespoons of melted butter with warm water and a blender when you mix it, or 4 ounces of heavy cream. That should be your minimum, because you're only going to be doing a liquid diet. And so you need that fat. You're not eating carbohydrates, and so you need that fat as your fuel source. And that's also going to help you to not be hungry. So protein will actually, fill you up in the moment, and then the fat is going to get you through the next meal. And Keto Chow only does have 25 grams of protein in it. So you're at a like bare minimum, really not even enough protein if you're doing 3 a day for 75 grams of protein. That's why we always recommend, if you are going to do Keto Chow as your only source of nutrition, find a way to add a little bit more protein, whether it's like some canned chicken or tuna, or you can even mix in some egg with your Keto Chow.
I was going to say, or just consider making our pudding that we make with Keto Chow, because that's still going to be soft. That was something that Joe ate when he was having all of his dental surgery. And that's going to, have a lot of egg in it, really stretch the Keto Chow also, which is good. And then you can, eat that cold. Yeah. So it could still be soothing to your throat.
And as far as the electrolytes, I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
But I would say there's the one of the reasons, again, I'm guessing, we are not doctors, nurses, or health professionals. We're just two idiots who put ourselves on YouTube. Everything we talk about is based on our own personal experience, what I learned as a master health coach, as well as talking to doctors and stuff. I would guess that it has something to do with going to the bathroom when you're having surgery.
Right.
A lot of times because of anesthesia, they want you cleaned
fasted.
out or fasted, and it could be the magnesium. I would talk to them at least about, consuming sea salt, or not sea salt, red mint salt. Don't use sea salt. Use red mint salt. You're in the United States, use red mint salt. People ask us all the time, what about sea salt? It's not that sea salt's necessarily bad, but it's exposed to all the pollutants that are in the ocean.
Right.
Red mint salt is mined from below the ground where it hasn't been touched by all of the garbage in our environment right now. Sarah, thank you very much for the $15 super chat. Said, just want to say thank you for all that you
thanks, Sarah.
do.
Congratulations on your new job, young lady. She's going to be starting a new job soon. So excited for you. I'm excited for them. I'm excited. I am excited for any employer that gets a keto person working for them.
Yeah.
Why? We don't conk out at 2:00.
That's
right?
true.
We've got stamina for the day. We're clear-minded. Like, I think that is a competitive edge when it comes to work.
Next one's from Peggy.
Hey, Peggy.
Peggy said, I thought fasting would get you in ketosis. I've been water fasting. On the plus side, my blood pressure is excellent. So she did have pictures of her CGM, or her Keto Mojo. And yeah, fasting will get you into ketosis and ketogenesis. I don't think it's the best way to get into ketosis and ketogenesis, but it will get you there. But understand this is your body is still going to produce glucose. Now, if you're fasting, your body still needs glucose.
Yeah.
Regardless of what people think, your body does need a little bit of glucose. You need the equivalent of about a teaspoon of sugar in your blood at all times, but it can make it. So when you're fasting, your body still needs it, even though you're fasting, so your body will make it. And it makes it, if you're not eating, it's going to make it from your muscle. That's what it's going to do. So that's why we end up losing muscle. Your body can also make it from protein that you eat as well as from free fatty acids. But if you're not eating, it's going to make it from your muscle. Again, it's not that fasting is bad, but I don't think it's a great way to lose weight because, again, you're also not dealing with with your food issues and things like that. That is really the whole premise behind protein-sparing modified fast, where you're eating protein but no fat. And so that's like your fasting day. You're at least consuming protein so that your body can make that glucose.
You're
and you're sparing the protein and sparing your muscles. But I do want to say that if your meter is showing anything, if it's showing a 0.2, then
stuff's happening.
Your body has ketones in the blood.
Also,
and it could just be that at the point where you're at, your body is currently using those ketones. Also, testing in the morning is never a good idea. Test later on in the day.
Also, if you're not giving it an alternative, you're doing the right thing. You know, sometimes we're like, well, I don't see, you know, in the numbers, but I'm eating meat. Well, your body has no other, if you're not giving it carbohydrates, it's not confused on the fuel source. Like, right. We may still be like, well, I don't feel any different yet, but your body is using the fuel that you're giving it.
Now, listen, we love Keto Mojo. They're great people. I think it's a useful tool, like a scale. It's only a tool.
Right.
I do wish people would get away from this 0.5 means you're in ketosis, because that's just not true. First of all, there's two different terms that we kind of confuse and use as the same thing, but it's really not. Ketosis, the definition of ketosis is your body utilizing ketones for fuel. There is no easy way to actually measure that. Just because you have ketones in your blood doesn't mean that that's what your body is currently using for fuel. One thing we talk about all the time is alcohol. If you consume alcohol, your body uses alcohol for fuel, not ketones. Even if you have ketones, even if it's a zero carb alcohol, your body will use that alcohol for fuel. Therefore, by definition, you are not in ketosis. Regardless, if that meter could say you have 5.0 ketones, you drink an alcoholic drink, you will not be in ketosis, even though the meter says 5.0. All it's telling you is how many ketones are in your blood. So is your body manufacturing ketones? If you're not consuming exogenous ketones and there's ketones in your blood, that means your body is producing them. That is ketogenesis. But again, if there's any there, then your body is producing ketones.
Yeah.
And you still don't know, is it actively doing it at this moment? Because it's going to come and go.
It's challenging because there's so much coming to us that's from social media. There's so many, advertisements that you see. Like, once you start talking about keto, you see everything gets like sent your way, advertised to you. And when someone is saying, hey, I've got a 1.0 or I got a 2.0 or I've been fasting and I got 4.0, ketones, we feel like, oh my gosh, am I doing something wrong? Am I supposed to be racing them? Are we in a race and I didn't realize it? But a lot of it is just somebody trying to sell you something.
And higher ketones don't mean more weight loss.
No.
Even if you go onto Keto Mojo's website and look at their whole GKI thing, it actually shows you like you want actually lower ketones if you're trying to lose weight. Higher ketones are better for brain function, things like that. I want to make sure I didn't miss this one. I think I did it. Yeah, we did that one. Okay, next one is from Bill.
Hi, Bill.
Erythritol is in the news saying that it causes heart disease. Thoughts? I may change my sweetener. My personal opinion, it's a bunch of nonsense from a media and a food industry that's trying to push sugar on you. Lots of keto physicians have put videos up about this, so yeah. I don't want to beat a dead horse. Listen, it's erythritol. It comes from corn Make sure you're getting it from a non-GMO. You're using non-GMO erythritol. That's the biggest thing. We're not big fans of erythritol only because it causes some gastric distress and because Rachel doesn't like the cooling effect of it. But
Just a preference thing.
you don't want to be consuming a lot. And one way to help you with that is to count total carbs.
I think it's really interesting that you see all of these studies come out like, or like this is breaking news, something wrong with allulose or erythritol or sucralose, or like everybody wants to talk about that. Why are we not just spending all of our energy talking about sugar?
Right.
Sugar. Like that's fine.
That's their solution is don't use erythritol, use sugar.
Use sugar.
In moderation.
Sugar would be better for you. Yes, in moderation.
Right.
Like there's such a thing. And it's funny to me they continue to change the name for sugar to try to hide it, because I think that if anybody says it out loud, they know there is just nothing good about sugar. There's nothing that it is not blessing my life in any way. But I think it's interesting that it's like we need to be really concerned about sugar alternatives and not worried about the sugar itself.
And then they try to use terms like agave nectar.
Right.
Or
100 different names.
coconut sugar.
New one coming down the street every week.
When you see these studies, my advice, if it's something that concerns you, is I would get the actual study. Don't rely on the media. Get the actual study and read through it.
Yes.
You will find most of the time the studies are bogus, or look at who's funding this study. And then also look at what the parameters were. And a good example is sucralose. You hear all these people, sucralose is so horrible. And it's based off of one study where the rats were first of all, we're not rats. Second of all, those rats were not on a ketogenic diet. Third of all, they were being fed the equivalent of, for me, I would have to consume 64 Keto Chows a day to get the amount of sucralose that they were giving those rats.
It would be a delicious day.
And I mean, recently there was this thing, sucralose is a fertilizer or a pesticide. Chris has a whole blog post talking about it was so bad that they actually retracted it. I mean, it's like we have to look at that. You have to look at what was the study, who was funding it, and the best thing to do is to actually read the study. Don't rely on the media.
Consider whose pocketbook takes a hit when we stop using sugar products, when we start using alternatives, when we start changing where we spend our grocery money. Think about who's not okay with that, who's not going to be cheering that.
Next one is from Joel.
Hey, Joel.
I have reached my goal waist health. I am the example. My family is impressed. They refuse to follow me. How do you convince your family? Share your story.
Keep going.
You're not going to convince your family.
Right.
I mean, I know that nobody wants to hear that. The only way that you're going to possibly get your family on board is to continue doing what you're doing. And it may take years. It took my mom 7 years. And I know we don't want to hear that when it comes to our family, but you also have to remember that our families are the people who've been with us through this whole ride. For many of us, our families are the ones that saw us try every fad diet in the world and then quit after 2 months. And so then they've also got the media telling you that this is horrible.
Scary.
So the only way to do it is to continue, press on and continue on, and then go watch our video on how to make an ass out of yourself.
Yeah. Well, because what I hear in your post right there is a desire to serve others. So while you're waiting for your own family to come to keto or maybe change some of the things that they're doing, be ready to serve others.
That's a different presentation.
There's somebody right now who's ready. They may not be in your family, but there is somebody who is ready to hear what you have to say. So like share it, like get involved in our Mighty Networks group, be there as someone who can answer questions for somebody who's not at their goal just yet.
Next one. Oh, That's the last one. Next one's from Robin.
Hey, Robin.
I'm struggling with picking excursions for Jamaica. That's the 2KK getaway cruise.
Yes.
I really want to do river rafting or the waterfalls, but I'm afraid that I won't be able to physically do it on the slippery rocks.
Oh, yeah.
For Coco Cay, I chose swimming with the pigs, although I may well cancel it and just hang out on a beach with my fellow 2KK family. For the third port of call, I'm just holding off until it's decided where we're going.
Yeah.
It does not say at Haiti. Okay, so my suggestion. I'll tell you what we're doing when we go to Jamaica, we're doing the zip lining. That's what we're doing. Zip lining and a couple of other things. For Coco Cay, I don't know how to say this without upsetting people. I would not recommend the swimming with the pigs. It's only a few minutes, and then you're kind of there. I like Hideaway Beach, which is the adults only beach. And
I really
by adults
enjoy
only,
that.
it's not like a nude
It's not
beach.
naughty.
It just means there's no little kids running around.
Right.
But lots of places to sit, beach or along the pool, lounge chairs in the water.
I like lounge chairs in the water.
I will just say they do play a lot of what Rachel calls is boots and pants music.
Boots and pants and boots and pants. Yes.
And it's a little loud.
Yeah.
But that's...
We're that
and
many
it's
years old.
It's pretty inexpensive. And here's the cool thing is the 2KK Getaway Cruise is in December, and that's after Black Friday. So there will be some amazing deals on Black Friday.
So keep your eye open for that.
I would pay for any excursions, drink packages, Wi-Fi packages now, order it, and then on Black Friday, you can return it and rebuy it if it's cheaper. But yeah, and then Labadee, if we go to Labadee, which again, I doubt very much we're going to Labadee, Labadee is cool to just hang out and relax.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful beach.
The other thing I would not recommend in either Labadee or Coco Cay is the zip lining. I think it's overpriced for what you get. It's very, very short. And for close to the same amount of money, you can do real zip lining in Jamaica or other places. But I did it in Labadee because Anthony begged me and it was a family cruise. And then after going to Puerto Rico, I'm like, wow, I feel like I got ripped off.
Yeah.
Because it was like over $100 and it was over in 30 seconds.
I did see somebody mention keto in the hospital, really difficult. Definitely. I know that can be challenging, but my advice is remember you are the client. Remember that the doctors, the medical staff, like the kitchen services, they work for you. That is not like a free thing. You have to pay for that.
Yep.
So make sure that you're asking for what you need. And they will have eggs, they will have bacon, they have sausage patties, they'll have a hamburger patty there. Tell them you have a very specific diet. Other people are able to ask if they have like a gluten allergy. They're not going to mess with that. Let them know, I have a gluten allergy. I cannot have sugar. I need to have some alternative, products. They're going to push back again. Do not give up. This is your health. And they're not going to pay your bill for you.
My suggestion, you have to just refuse.
Yes.
Refuse. I'm not eating it. Mm-hmm. You might want to do a little bit of threats. Like,
I'm going to have to call somebody if you will not serve me.
I'm going to make some phone calls. The term that I like to use is I'm sensitive to that. Or I'm intolerant to that because they can't prove an intolerance or a sensitivity. So don't say allergic. I'll go to restaurants and say like, hey, I have an allergy to sugar. But in a hospital, because they can't prove it, just say like, listen, I have a sugar intolerance.
I just want the protein.
I have a carbohydrate intolerance. Like I get violently ill if I have carbohydrates. And then they will appease you.
And it was hard for Joe's mom because they would present you with a tray and be like, well, once it's in my room, I'm going to have to throw all of this out. And this seems like a waste of food, right? We don't want to be wasteful. I understand that. And that was something that Terry just reminded mom of is the mistake number one was made when they brought this into the hospital. That was mistake number one was like they bought it. We don't have to make two mistakes. It's the same thing. Like if you have some wonky ingredients in your house, things that you know are going to undermine you in your keto journey, throw them away. Don't try to coexist with garbage. It was a mistake when you brought it into your home. Don't make a second mistake by just finishing it up. Throw it out.
Let's see. Next one. Oh, wait, why are we so far behind on these? Next one's from John.
Hey, John.
Watching Keto Beyond the Couch, Joe is discussing the addictiveness of cheese. I couldn't agree more. I am cheese-free for 2 weeks now, but I still stare longingly in cheese shop windows. But I'm staying strong.
I'm proud of you, John.
Yeah. So, I mean, listen, it's cheese is wonderful, right? Cheese, glorious cheese. But we don't really have a shut-off. It's easy to overdo. Next one is from Pepper.
Hey, Pepper.
Thank you, Joe and Rachel, for your live chats. I finally perfected the Keto Chow ice cream with my creamy.
Yay.
As Joe said, the secret is to let it sit in the fridge before freezing and then let it sit on your counter for about a half hour before you spin it. It removed the icy texture from the sides and is smooth.
Nice.
Yeah, if you want really good flavor, don't freeze it right away. Make them and then let them sit in your refrigerator for a half hour is good, but a day is even better. It's always better the next day. And then freeze them because then you've had a chance for all those flavors to infuse. If you make it and put it in the creamy container and put it right in the freezer, you never give it a chance because it freezes before everything can,
as Chris says,
thicken up.
Make it think about what it's done.
Yeah. Next one is from Anne.
Hi, Anne.
I'm putting sticky notes around my house. Eat for nutrition. Eat for pleasure. I need to be more consistent on the nutrition side of things.
That is wonderful. If you're like, where do I begin? I like to encourage people to look up what somebody in your sex and your stage of life is nutrient deficient in. What are the vitamins that people your age and in your circumstance are usually missing? And then let that be your grocery list. Yeah. Look up those things, and I'm going to tell you, spoiler alert, it's going to be mostly ruminant animals that answers a lot of the problems that we have, and eat to provide medicine for your body. Your nutrition has become the prescription for your better health.
Next one is from Teresa.
Hey, Teresa.
I used to snack anytime I had to do long drives by myself to keep myself awake. They varied between candies or chips to fruits and vegetables, depending on how healthy I was trying to be. I try not to snack as much as possible now that I eat keto. On some recent long-distance drives, I bought a couple of large insulated cups full of crushed ice. It gave me something to suck on or crunch on to keep me awake. It worked really well. The only 0-calorie snack that I can think of, and it kept me hydrated.
That's a good
idea.
That's a great thing. I will tell you, I am still like dreaming of the ice at the finale rally for RV Unplugged. It was the perfect consistency. Everybody I know has an ice that they like, but it was the closest to what those like little, almost like hush puppy, like where it's individual ice but still soft. Now, it was wonderful.
I would remind everybody that chewing on ice
it could be bad for your teeth. But
I would suck on it.
But those
or
little
get the
ones,
small crushed ice kind of thing.
It was very nice.
Next one is from Ronnie.
Hey, Ronnie.
Thank you for that's from last week, but I'll read it again.
Okay.
Thanks for your Celsius post a while back. Someone came at me for drinking it. Your post was covered all his complaints. He's a recent insulin-dependent diabetic, but wants to complain about my Celsius consumption. Yeah.
Really?
People have nothing better to do. Again, that's from last week. Sorry, I just forgot to delete it off of our thing. The next one, is from Robin.
Hey, Robin.
Did I miss the explanation on the anonymous comment? I don't think I've seen you all remove a name from a comment, so piqued my curiosity. I said last week twice, we'll talk about that. So somehow Facebook just automatically added a thing within our group allowing you to post it anonymously.
Facebook.
We've taken that out in our group, so you cannot post anonymously in our group. The reason is our group is supposed to be about helping each other and really educating each other and being accountability partners for each other and lifting everybody up. So there's really no reason to post anonymously.
Well, and if you feel like, gosh, I have a question,
because if somebody bashes you, we're gonna boot them out.
But if you have a question that you're like, I really am a little bit scared and I want to ask this, but I don't want to put myself out there, message us directly. Message Joe or message me if you're like, hey, I'm just looking for an answer to a question, but I don't want everybody to know who I am. But
we have to say something about that. You need to message us in
Mighty Networks. Yeah.
And people still do it, but we'll put it out there again. We do not use Facebook Messenger. We don't check Facebook Messenger.
No.
We don't answer things from Facebook Messenger. Every once in a while, I'll go in there because I'm using like Facebook Marketplace, and I will see somebody messaged us a message in Facebook Messenger, and it was like 3 months ago. We don't check it. There's just too many places to check things. So we've had to narrow it down. There's one place that we answer people, and that is Mighty Networks. Our Mighty Networks group is free. It's members.2crazyketos.com, and then you can private message us. Rachel is much better at answering people. Sometimes it takes me a day or two to answer just because I'm doing other things. I was talking with John McLemore Jr.
Yes. Oh my gracious.
So,
we just love them.
The McLemore boys were at RV Unplugged finale rally. Their grandfather, or John Jr.'s grandfather, created Masterbuilt. Awesome story. But I was talking to him about it. I had sent him a message, and he's like, did you see it? And he was like, I'm so sorry. I did see it. I forgot to respond to it.
And then it gets lost.
And he's like, I meant to, but then I forget. And that's what I do. So sometimes you'll send me an email, you'll send me a message. I will read it, and I'll be like, I need to respond to that when I get the opportunity. And then I forget to mark it as unread. And then something else slips in my mind because I'm like 10-second Tom sometimes. And I forget. So if you've sent me a message and I haven't responded to you, especially email, and I haven't responded to you after like 2 days.
Send it again.
Send it again. It's not that I'm ignoring you. It's that I probably either A, I missed it, or most likely I read it, I meant to respond, but I wasn't at a place where I could respond because I needed to look something up for it. And then I forget to do it. And so it's totally my fault. And it's something I got reminded of this morning in our reading that I need to be better at. I need to be better at doing everything with excellence.
There's always room for improvement.
Yep. Next one is from Anthony.
Hey, Anthony.
What are the protein bars at Costco that you guys like? I can never find them. I forgot to bring one out here for this.
Genius Gourmet.
Genius Gourmet. They're not the rice ones, but they're Genius Gourmet. In Costco, they have it's a box of 2 flavors, chocolate and then chocolate peanut butter.
Just check the ingredients because, things change.
The other Genius Gourmet ones, like they have ones that are like a Rice Krispie kind of consistency. They have more wonky ingredients, but the Genius Gourmet chocolate and the chocolate peanut butter ones are very clean ingredients, and they're only like 4 and 5 total carbs per bar.
What was the thing recently that we came across and you said, that just broke my heart because they changed the way they were doing it?
JoJo's. We were in Costco.
JoJo's.
We were in Costco.
JoJo's. With a name like Joe, you should be consistent.
We were in Costco yesterday.
Yes, and we still love their chocolate.
I was like, it was like chocolate peanut butter. I'm like, I wonder if, because it was always super clean. We're like, I wonder if this would be better than the occasional Quest peanut butter cup that we use.
Turn over the box.
And it's like 6 grams of added sugar.
Why?
And I'm like, why? Why? What did you do? Next one is from Andy.
Hey, Andy.
Question: every time I try to fast, I get a headache. I have a CGM. It shows my blood sugar is not low, so it's not that. I'm not even doing a long fast, basically just trying to skip breakfast. Any tips? I've been keto about 1.5 years, and I still can't seem to do without the headache.
Do you drink
sodium.
coffee?
It's sodium.
Oh, okay. Because I was like...
Again, not doctors, nurses, or health professionals, but your sodium is probably low. Sodium is going to cause headaches.
Sometimes, too, though, I just want to say is that, like, if you start fasting and especially if you're a caffeine drinker...
intermittent fasting.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but I have experience where it's like I'm used to a big fat like coffee in the morning. If I skip that, I am going to get a headache.
Yeah, but usually
it's sodium.
You have low sodium.
Yeah.
I would try doing an electrolyte. Next one is from Jamie.
Hey, Jamie.
I would love to know how to make the pellets. These are the pork rind pellets. My husband brings some last time he went stateside, but I would kill to make my own here. Making your own pork pellets from pork skin is a lot of work.
That's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. You have to get the skin, you have to trim it down, you have to render them, you have to cure them, you have to dry them. It can be done, but it is a lot of work. I would just get a bunch of pork pellets. And
Yeah.
on that subject, I wanted to mention two things. And well, we mentioned the dextrose thing last week. All pork rinds, whether you buy Pork and Good or all of them, they come from products like the pork pellets from Rudolph's. They won't list dextrose in the ingredients unless the dextrose is part of the seasoning, but they all came from pork pellets that had dextrose.
It had to be cured.
Okay, it was part of the curing process. That's why it's not listed in the ingredients, because it's not in the final product. But also, somebody posted on that video or last week's Keto Beyond the Couch that, $35 for 60 ounces is a lot of money. It's not $35 for 60 ounces of pork rinds.
No.
It's $35 for 60 ounces of pork pellet, which will blow up to, I don't even know how much.
You could start your own business.
I would say at minimum 5 times that, but probably more. It's...
Yeah. You could open a food truck.
One bag is going to last you
forever. Yeah, forever.
Yeah, forever. Last one we have is from Ronnie.
Hey, Ronnie.
I had longtime friends for 50 years say that they were having a low-carb tortilla with butter. Several responses wanted to come out. Finally, I went with, wow, I wish I could have that. So glad you can. I love that answer.
Yes. It's
right?
just like,
I do want to go like, that's not keto. But that doesn't help. That's making an ass out of yourself.
Oh, right. Well, and I love that you put that in perspective. We've been friends for 50 years. It is amazing to me how I am seeing a disagreement over something that is not an eternal issue bring down families, longtime friends, make it really challenging to have coworkers. Like, relationships, people are so precious that I really have to stop and think, is it worth this argument? Is it worth it? And I would say 99.9% of the time, no. Will this matter in 5 hours, in 5 days, in 5 weeks, in 5 months, that I am willing to let this relationship possibly die, let go, and lose fellowship with this person because we think differently about something? Like, it's just not worth it. Like, the relationship is so precious. People are precious.
So we have a question from Jen.
Hey, Jen.
Jen said, I've been having daily low blood sugars. I use a CGM and have it set for alarms to go off when I'm under 60. A few nights ago, I was at 43. This generally happens at night. Okay, so again, we are not doctors, nurses, or health professionals.
What are you doing over there?
I was trying to find that video.
Okay.
Okay. But for some reason, YouTube's being funny.
Right.
If you're only getting those low glucose things at night, first of all, I don't know, 43 might be a little low, but like Dr. Boz has talked about, like when it gets into the 50s and stuff like that, if you're on a ketogenic diet, it's not that big of a deal because you're not using glucose for fuel. So especially if you're not showing other signs or symptoms of low blood sugar, if it's just the reading is low, but you're going to know if you have low blood sugar if your body is utilizing that sugar for fuel. But you're using fat for fuel, Jen. The other thing is that CGMs are very sensitive to being laid on. So if you have it on your arm or wherever you have it and you lay on that, sometimes that results in readings of very low blood sugar. The other thing that happen is if you are very, very hydrated, if you have a lot of fluid, if you've drank a lot of water, that can give you false readings as well.
I was talking to somebody recently that depending on which arm, they get very different readings. Like one arm, they're just looking for like it to be, stay within that handwriting line that we talk about, that it's not just up, down all of the time, but they read much higher in one arm than they do the other.
Yeah, what we wanted to do is not going to work. So John said...
Hey, John.
Speaking of birthdays, mine was on Saturday. Lollipop from a dentist is called
Job Security. Let's sing to John.
And also, Wednesday is Lady Fritzer's birthday. So let's just sing.
We'll say to Lady and to John. You ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Lady and John. Happy birthday to you and many more, so many more, you two.
Dina said, my husband and I have been ketogenic since 2016. He is a medical provider. He wrote 2 books, started a podcast, a YouTube channel, etc. But it is so difficult to keep up with it. Kudos to you.
Thank you so much.
It is a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. Thank the Lord we have the stamina from this keto way of eating to keep going.
Matt said, save 2 spots on the December 2025 cruise for us. We're making our plans now.
I love it.
Also, by the way, anybody who signs up between now and the end of the year, they get a $50 onboard credit. I was able to arrange that.
That's pretty nice.
So between now and December,
a $50
you get a $50
bump?
onboard credit to spend on your cruise, which you can, by the way, if you have onboard credit, you can apply that to your prepaid gratuities or to your gratuities so long as you don't prepay them. So when you get on the ship, you can use it. If you don't use it for anything else, you can use that for your gratuities because it's like money in your account. But if at the end of the cruise, if you haven't used it, you don't get it back. It's use it or lose it.
Yeah, you use it so you don't lose it.
Carol said,
Hey,
help.
Carol.
How do I stop from getting cramps in my feet, my legs, my stomach, my hands, and even my neck? I'm taking magnesium citrate and potassium, but it doesn't make a difference. Make sure you're taking enough. Make sure you're taking enough, especially potassium and magnesium. Those are the 2 things. I mean, I don't know how much you're taking. So people look at the RDA and think, oh, 2,000 milligrams of sodium. That's the minimum.
Right.
People confuse the recommended daily allowance
with the top.
With this is the most I'm supposed to take, but that's
not the
actually
ceiling.
the minimum. If you read the description, it's like that's the minimum, and everybody is different. On a ketogenic diet, we actually need more because your body isn't storing it because you don't have the glycogen stores that somebody who is eating a standard American diet has. On average, and again, everybody is different, on average, you need 4,000 to 5,000 milligrams a day of sodium minimum, and you need between 3,000 and 5,000 milligrams a day minimum of potassium. Potassium is when you don't want to overdo too much, but it's going to be kind of hard to get more than 5,000 milligrams of potassium anyway on a ketogenic lifestyle. And then magnesium, you're looking for 300 to 500 milligrams minimum. So try that. I would use Salty. Salty, I mean, we don't even need to use the magnesium capsules anymore since we started using Salty as our liquid electrolytes.
You read that one, and that's a repeat. There you go.
Yep. Trish said,
Hey,
Joe
Trish.
and Rachel, if we haven't told you enough, you need to know that what you do matters so much.
Wow.
You are saving lives and empowering people and showing the light of God to others. I'm thankful.
I'm thankful for you, Trish. Thank you so much.
Not retired day tripper said,
Hey.
hi from a hospital in the UK. I broke my
Sorry.
ankle falling from a climbing wall.
I am so sorry. That has to be so painful. I'm really, really sorry that you're going through that. And after you were doing something very ambitious, like movement wise, that's really cool that you were doing a climbing wall, and to hurt yourself when you're doing that, like, I'm so sorry.
John said if they try to give me a diabetic diet in the hospital, I'd have my wife bring me the Keto Chow and a pile of burgers. And that's pretty much what we did with my mom. Like, my sister just started importing food.
Smuggling them in pockets.
Mommy's here said,
Mommy.
hey there, everyone. Hope you're having a great Monday. Leading up to a fabulous week. Face blue, smiling. She put like an emoji.
But it's so funny because it describes it. On our end.
Joanna said, I find the longer I stay away from cheese, the stronger I get to revisit it. At this point, I'm afraid of reintroducing, except for casseroles. For some reason, I have no problem with them.
Yeah, it's interesting. So it is the thing that I kind of measure out and am very purposeful with, because I know that I could just melt cheese on everything and enjoy it. But I think to myself, is this adding a bunch of flavor? I know you've had cheese that's like mozzarella or even some cheddars where it's just like so mild. It really is doing nothing except for adding a smoothness of texture. And when that happens, I think to myself, would I be better off to just be having some like yogurt or something that's kind of like adding more nutrition to my life or working harder doing
Right.
something more.
Angie said Publix sells the nugget ice in bags, also in the deli. A cup of ice is usually free, and it's the nuggets.
Ooh.
Yeah, once we move and we're all set up, I definitely want a big nugget maker, a big ice nugget maker that I can run off of solar.
You know what we need is a chicken nugget maker. Nancy and Sarah were so nice to make carnivore chicken nuggets and bring them to the finale rally so we could enjoy those for
They were so
lunch.
good.
And I thought, man, we need a nugget maker that just provides nuggets.
Lynette said, after 5 years of watching my son and I have success on keto, his nurse just adopted his way of eating 2 weeks ago. So 5 years.
Wow.
Right? She's lost 7 pounds of fluid in the first week. I'm so thankful she's trying
That
it.
is so awesome. And Lynette, you have been such a lighthouse because Lynette is definitely one of those people that just leads by example. She's never anybody that tries to like ram anything down anybody's throats. She always is serving people and is so lovely. And I know that Jesse's nurse has observed how he is doing so well by using this way of eating thanks to Lynette, and how Lynette is continuing to be present, and she works so hard, and the stamina that she needs to just do that is really fueled by a keto way of eating. So thank you for your faithfulness. You think about like you have blessed that nurse. She came to serve you. She
Right.
came to serve your family, and now you've served back. And now think about all of the lives that she will touch, all of the other patients that she will bless with even just the thought of a keto way of eating.
So Angie said there's a YouTube video on how to make your own pellets, pork rind pellets. It takes forever. You have to boil the skin, dry the skin. It takes like a week worth of work to make them. Yeah, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
And you have to find some place that's going to sell you the pork skin. And again, you also have to trim it. You have to get it like to it's just the pork skin. Trish said, has Joe done a video on making your own egg life wraps? No. Why? Okay, so I got to tell the
I
story.
see people
love this
saying
story.
all of these different, like all of these other YouTubers have one.
So here's what happened. 2020?
Yeah.
2020. I was like, we got to make our own egg life wraps. That was kind of like where egg life wraps got really popular. So I was like, I'm going to make my own egg life wraps. And we were working on it, and I had a recipe, and Rachel's like, that's good. And I'm like, not good enough. That's good. Not good enough. So I kept working on it, and then we got COVID. And we got COVID bad. If you've been around for that long, we couldn't get out of bed for a month. And I mean, I remember Dr. Barry saying, you realize if you wouldn't have lost the weight, you would have been dead.
You would have been dead.
We would not have survived it.
Yeah.
We got out of bed once a week to try to do a live stream. But it was...
Could barely hold my head up.
In fact, the only thing we did was Keto Beyond the Couch because
we just couldn't
we refused to miss Keto Beyond the Couch. In that time, Neely perfected it.
Really good.
Instead of using xanthan gum, she used beef gelatin because she has an issue with xanthan gum.
Mm-hmm.
And then I made that, and I'm like, that's awesome. There is no reason for me to make a video.
Right.
It's like when somebody's got it, so I could make her recipe and show you me making the recipe. We've done that with other people and give them credit. But it's like, why bother trying to perfect perfection?
Yeah,
right?
She did a great job.
And so if you want to make your own egg life wraps, I don't have the link to it here. I don't think Neely is in here right now, but go to Neely's website or to her channel.
Oh, thank you, Chris. He put it in there.
And Neely perfected it.
I think it's good.
You don't even need xanthan gum. You're going to use beef gelatin, and they come out absolutely perfect.
Total blessing.
Okay, so we're going to get off. We will be back live on Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time.
Wednesday.
Why Wednesday?
Wednesday, we're probably going to have
We don't know what we're doing yet. And it won't be on this channel. It will be on the camping channel. So we're thinking about doing something on our camping channel on Wednesday since everybody's kind of used to watching
It's nice
RV
to get to
Unplugged on
visit all
Wednesday,
together.
but it would be on the camping channel, would not be on this channel.
Right.
It's also not something that I want to commit to every week because of travel and everything else. Like, we don't want to commit to a live stream on Wednesday and a live stream on Thursday, but we may start doing one at least every other week or whatever on Wednesdays, doing something on our channel, on our camping channel on Wednesdays. Thursday, we'll have a live stream at our normal time, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, whether it will be from here or from Arcadia, we don't know. If they tell us we're going to be closing on Friday, we're going to take the RV and stay up there, and we'll just do it live from the RV. But that's going to be the end of today's Keto Beyond the Couch. If you haven't already done so, head on over to the what's in the August Keto Chow box.
Yes.
I was going to pick the winner live here, but YouTube won't let me pull up the link. So we're going to pick the winner and announce it at 3 p.m. And I'm going to try something different. We're going to announce the winner in our Mighty Networks group. So we're just going to put, this is who won. If we don't hear back from that winner by Wednesday, then we're going to just try it one more time. And if we don't hear from them, we're just going to give it away to one of our channel subscribers.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to try it that way. Thank you very much, guys. Have a great day.
We love you.